class, for sure, a blanket, or a very long towel, something you can fold up into different shapes, your 2 yoga blocks, your strap or something like it, and your small massage ball of your choice. So those are the things we'll be using for sure. For the beginning of class, the way we're going to start today is with the blanket. And there's two ways that you can do this depending on your comfort. So because this class is going to have a lot of chest opening and some amount of back bending, we're going to want to warm up those tissues of the chest and back in a soft, gentle way. So one of the ways I like to do this is to roll my blanket, and this was similar to like a foam roller. So it doesn't have to be as big as a foam roller. If you've used a foam roller before, you might know what I'm talking about. So my blanket's pretty large. So I'm folding it and then I'm placing it the long ways on my mat. This is just an option, so you can see if it works for you. We'll have a block to hold the head. So what I'm going to do is try to sit really low on the edge of the blanket. And really, even if it's just a little towel rolled with a little bit of height, you're going to feel an effect. So keep that in mind. So then I'm going to lay back gently. My spine is on the blanket, and then the block is going to support my head in whatever height feels best. Some of you might want it just to be flat, or maybe on the middle setting. Probably not on the high setting, I would guess. But it's your body, so you see what works for you. The knees would stay bent for this, and the palms are open. So just creating a real opening through the front of the rib cage, the chest, the middle of the back, having some nice compression to help open. If this is too much, or if your blanket's not long enough and you're just hanging off of it everywhere, then you can take the option that we did last week, I believe, and you can lay it in a T shape or make a T with your body on the blanket, and you can just wedge it under the underarm area, again with the block for support under your head. And you can play with where it feels the best. It's probably going to feel best up a little higher under the arms to get an opening through the chest. So choosing whatever way you want to start with your supported chest opener, and then most likely keeping your knees bent and leaning in toward each other to support the sacrum and the lower back. And you can start here, fuss around however long you need to get comfortable. And once you've chosen your position for the next few moments, start to engage some mindful breathing, deep belly breaths. As you breathe in, allow the belly to expand. And feel that expansion moving into the rib cage and into the upper back before you let the air out. Filling up as much as you can, and then letting out either an audible sigh with open mouth or a soft breath through pursed lips. What works for you today? What do you need? This poem is by Alden Solovey from the book This Joyous Soul. Finding God is as simple as breathing in the morning air, as simple as seeing the light around you, as simple as feeling your heartbeat fill your chest. Learning to breathe, to see, to feel the presence of holiness. That is the secret. That is the journey. How quiet and still, how open and aware, how ready and willing we must be to see the extraordinary in the mundane. Before we can see a bush in flames that is not consumed, before we take off our shoes in the light of awe and majesty, finding God is as simple as breathing in mystery, as simple as seeing the radiance around you, as simple as feeling glory fill your limbs and wonder fill your chest. Last week, our theme was breathe some space into it, whatever it is for you. And this week, we continue with breathing some wonder into it. And wonder meaning two different kinds, the wonder and majesty and awe that surrounds us, finding wonder and awe in the mundane, and breathing the kind of wonder that is curiosity. And we can only breathe in wonder and curiosity and awe when we have space for it, when we've created space to breathe. We are going to start to mindfully shift off of the blanket, off of the supports that are under your head and your back, and move those off to the side. And then you can roll to your side to a seated position. And for the seated position, feel free to continue to use your blanket if you need to. Maybe a little less of a roll, just to sit on the edge if that helps you to keep your pelvis tilted forward and the rounding out of your lower back. It's totally up to you. We're going to sit as comfortably as possible. I've got my legs crossed here. And we're going to make sure that we have the massage ball nearby. And we're going to do some release for the neck muscles that support full deep breathing. They get really tight when we chest breathe, especially when we're feeling stressed. We stop breathing from the diaphragm, we start breathing up here, so which stresses these poor little guys out. So we want to start to release these muscles and drop back in to the diaphragm. So let's bring the hands behind the head, clasp your fingers, like you're kicking back and hanging out on like a lounge chair, right? With the positioning behind your hands. The thumbs are pointed down towards your shoulders. And we're going to very gently start to tuck the chin toward the chest and hug the elbows in toward each other. And you're going to use your hands to just add a little gentle pressure to the back of your head, just a little. And take a deep breath into this. You have to be very gentle here, so no force. Breathing into the back of the neck and letting it go. You can even press the back of your head into your hands a little bit and then keep your hand pressure there, so you're activating the back of the neck slightly. And then exhale, relax everything, pressing forward. And now on your inhale, start to open your elbows and your chest and gaze upward, reach those elbows back behind you. Take a big breath in. Take another breath in. Feeling the muscles around the armpits and chest and arms, the biceps, maybe waking up here. And then start to connect these movements. So as you exhale, just tucking the chin and gently pressing into the head. And then as you inhale, opening everything up. And do this in a way that it matches your breath. So your breath is the guide here. So however long it takes you to inhale into full capacity, that's how long you take to open up those elbows. And then emptying out completely brings you to elbows together. Let's do 2 more. Good. Relax your arms by your sides to give them a little shake. And then look straight ahead. So just do a little check-in with your neck. Turn your head to gaze over your right shoulder without moving your shoulders. Check your range of motion from right to left. Notice if one side might feel a little more free than the other. Are they about the same? Good. Come back to center, and now tilt your ear to your shoulder and then to the other shoulder. Notice, is there one side that's tighter than the other? Good. And now we'll use our massage ball. So take your ball in your right hand, and you're just going to work the very back of your right side of your neck, right at that bone, it's the occipital bone. And it kind of comes around to the back of the ear as well. So you just want to rub that area. Just go side to side. So we're going to work on the attachment and the insertion of these muscles, which helps to release the belly or the main part of the muscle. So just a little release here at the base of the skull. And then you can, if you want to, gently, very gently roll the ball in circles down the front of your neck until you get to your collarbone. And I'd like you to roll the ball side to side. I'm going to change hands so it feels a little easier. Rolling the ball side to side under the collarbone where we usually tap. So you're getting all that area under there. While you do that, tilt your head back slightly and to the left slightly. So you're opening up that right side of the front of the neck, the scalenes in here. Good. Just that little release there, and then relax your arms and take your right shoulder and just do some swimming with the shoulder back and forward. Good. Now you have the ball in your left hand, so let's work the back of the left side of the neck, really getting up underneath the skull and staying on the left side, so don't let the ball cross over your spine. Pressing up and in, and then moving the ball side to side. So we're just really flushing out the fibers of the neck muscle that run upward. We're going against the fiber. Maybe gently rolling down the front of the neck until you get to the collarbone on the left side. Keep breathing. Don't be afraid to go right on the collarbone as long as you're getting also underneath it. Good. Okay, set your ball off to the side. Do some shoulder circles with that left side. Both directions. And then pause. And without moving the shoulders, go ahead and take your neck through a full range of motion again, turning to look over the right shoulder and then over the left shoulder. Notice any more freedom or fluidity that might be there as a result of some of that tissue work. Come back to center, tilt your ear to one shoulder and then the other. Good. Tilt your right ear to your right shoulder and then tilt your chin back and breathe into the front of the neck. And then softly come back to center and then tilt your left ear to your left shoulder and then tilt the chin back a little bit. Get into the front of the right side. Good. Come back to center. Bring your right hand to the floor and your left arm up. Engage your belly, pull everything in and lean over. Reach diagonally to the corner of where the wall and the ceiling meet if you're in a room. Root down through the left sits bone and hip. Good. Other side. So on your own, move through this a few times. Breathing, keeping belly engaged, trying to reach a little more with the arm and root down a little more with the hip each time you move through this. Good. Come back to center and then just take a twist. Just choose a side, hold on to your knee. Bring your other hand behind you and look over your shoulder and then twist to the other side. Do this a couple of times. Just waking up those rotation actions in the spine. Good. So if you have a block or something you're sitting on, you can remove it. And we will come to hands and knees. You can leave your blocks off of your mat, off to the side. And position your shoulders so they're right over your wrists and your knees are your hips are over your knees. And go ahead and tuck your toes for this one just to stretch out the bottom of the feet. And move through your cat and your cow in a way that feels good for you. Inhaling through your cow and exhaling through the cat. Pulling the navel in. Pausing in tabletop. We're going to do T rotation, so thoracic rotation. So you're going to bring your left hand a little bit more to the center of your mat so that your right hand can come behind your head. Pull your belly in. And as you inhale, just open up to that right side, like you're going to try to reach the elbow up to the ceiling. And then exhale, bring the elbow to point straight down. Inhale, rotate, exhale, center, inhale, and exhale. Good. We're going to change sides. Inhale as you rotate. Exhale, return. 2 more. Focusing on the rotation in the thoracic or upper part of your spine. Good. Exhale, release. And come back onto your feet. Just sit back and shake out your arms and your wrists. Maybe pressing the tops of your hands into your thighs. That's a nice little wrist release. Because the next thing we're going to do is sternum drops, which is going to strengthen these muscles here, these serratus muscles that are skinny, thin little muscles that line up along the sides of your ribs. These are really important for posture and really important for good, healthy breathing. So we're going to come back to our tabletop and keep the elbows straight and drop the sternum or the chest toward the floor by bringing your scapula together, your shoulder blades, squeeze them together, and then press the ground away from you, spread the shoulder blades apart. Take your time. So the head is not hanging, it's you've got your head and neck lined up with the rest of your spine. And those elbows remain straight. Keep the belly pulled in. And just think of those muscles along the rib cage getting stronger, supporting your posture. Let's do 2 more. Good. Come back into a child's pose of your choice. Knees can be wide or narrow. Reach those arms out in front of you. Rest your forehead on the floor. Take some deep breaths into the back of your body now. Let your hips get heavy. Imagine you could fill up the whole lower back and kidney area with air. And exhale, let it go. Breathe some space into it. Breathe some wonder into it. Okay, we are going to come back up to all fours again just to do some hip warm-ups. So if your wrists are getting tired, you can always come onto your knuckles or your fingertips, which is a nice hand strengthener as well. So setting up in tabletop, we're going to bring the knee in toward the chest and then extend the leg out. When you extend the leg out, try not to lift that leg so high that your lower back sags like a hammock. We want to just lift the leg to about hip height. Then round, 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 activate those core muscles and then extend. And round and extend. It's a little faster than we usually do. Last one, extend. Good. Now bend your knee and bring your leg out to the side like a fire hydrant dog pose and just do some circles, just up you. Keep breathing. Keep your belly pulled in. Good, and release. We're going to do the other side, extending the left leg, exhaling, rounding everything, inhaling, extend. Get some nice full deep breaths as you do this movement. Start to really energize the body. Last one. Going from extension to bent knee out towards your armpit, and just start to do some circles. In both directions. Good, and release. We're going to walk the hands out in front of us, but leave the tush up as we start to come into a puppy pose. So really reach those arms out and breathe into the front of the rib cage. So we want to stretch the area around the diaphragm. One more breath. Okay, so from here we're going to lower onto our bellies. So you can walk your hands forward or walk your knees back, whatever works. But when you come down, use this as an opportunity to strengthen your upper body by keeping your elbows close to your ribs as you lower down to your belly here. So if you've got your block nearby, this may not be realistic for some of us to reach back there, but this is an offering for today. Hair in my face. I'm going to put the block the skinny way between my thighs, the upper thigh area, the skinny way. And then I'm going to squeeze that block. So if you can, go ahead and do that. It's just going to bring more awareness to the intrinsic core muscles of the body. So squeeze the block if you have it, press your feet into the floor, and pull your navel up. So imagine there's a little fish hook, it's got your navel, it's pulling up gently toward the sky, creating some activation there. And then bring your hands by your sides. It's like we're going to do a cobra pose, right? That's what we're going to work on. So squeeze your block, lift up on the belly, press your feet into the floor so that your legs are really active, and then start to float up. You won't go very high. And you shouldn't probably go very high, right? We want to stay in the upper body here and not stress out the lower back. And then lower down. Does that feel like more work, right? We add that block. So squeeze the block, press the feet, squeeze the legs, inhale, float up. Keep squeezing the block. Neck is long and lower. So we're going to do one more that's going to be locust. So bring your hands to the floor. The palms are on the floor, which is going to help the shoulders externally rotate. We want them to be an external rotation. Squeeze the block again. Really firm up the whole lower body. Pull the abs in. Lift up the upper body and the hands. Reach for your, it's like you're reaching for your outer ankles with your fingers. Breathe here. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and lower. Oh, that's a lot of work. Okay. Take a breath. Crisscross your legs. Release your lower back. And then press into your hands just as you came down. Keep the elbows close. See if you can reverse your movement to come back in to kneeling position. You can let your block go. And we'll come to, oh, actually, let's have our block, one block here, because you might need it. We're going to take a kneeling side plank. So to do this, let's start with hands and knees. Extend the right leg is on the floor. My left hand is going to come onto the block. I'm just going to assume that we're going to use the block. It gives us a little support here. Ooh, it's a balance pose. Now the lower leg, the left lower leg is going to pivot so that I've got a little more of a tripod situation. That makes it a lot easier. Hand can be on the hip. So now your shoulders are stacked. You can always bring the block closer to you if you feel like you're reaching out too far from your block. Hips are in alignment. Back leg is supporting you. You can tuck your toes if you think that helps. So here we are in a balance pose. Start to flex the right foot and lift it up and lower. Belly's engaged. Lift and lower. Good. So we're going to include the upper body. So I want you to reach your right arm up and over. Reach, reach, reach. Feel the rib cage stretching. And press down through the toes, the inside of the right foot. Side stretch here. And then as you exhale, I want you to bring your arm up and lift your leg. Activating the abdominals here. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, lift. So we really look like we're in one of those side, like the, what's it called? The Ardha the half moon pose standing, but we're on our knees instead with the support of the block. I bet you're warm now. Are you cursing me yet? Don't curse me, please. Just kidding. You can curse me if you want to, but I still love you. Okay, lower down. Turn to face the mat with your hips. Do a cat-cow to release. And then we're going to change sides. Block can be whatever height works for you, so just whatever feels supportive. Hands and knees. Stretch the left leg back. It's on the floor. Right hand on the block. Pivot your right leg so that it's also helping you have some support here. Left foot stays on the floor. Reach your arm overhead. Nice big side body stretch. Pull the navel in. One more breath. And then as you exhale, think of activating this area of the body like it's just pulling you up, 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 and lowering. This is hard work because this is a big lever that you're lifting. If this is really too hard, you can keep your knee bent. That makes it easier, but you're going to feel it more in your hip flexor and less in your core. Let's do a couple more. Do what you can. If you have to take a break, that's important for you. You just take care of your body. Okay, we're going to rotate those hips to face forward again. Cat-cow, release your back. All right, now we're going to come to standing. You will need your straps nearby. You can stand in mountain pose to start. Roll the shoulders back and down. Just take a moment to feel all of your feet, all the edges of your feet connecting to your mat. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, do a swan dive with a flat back all the way down toward the floor, or a block or more blocks if you need more blocks. And just stretch the back of the legs. You can bend one knee and then the other, just alternating as if you're walking in place. Release the weight of your head. Release your jaw. Feel free to bend those knees as much as you need to take pressure off your lower back. Take another breath. Engage your belly. Bring your hands to your shins and start to slide your hands halfway up. Good. So you've got a flat back here, hands to the hips, and rise up. We are going to do wood chopper today. So wood chopper, we've got a nice wide stance, soft bend in the knees. Wood chopper to clear energy, to create fresh energy, to help let go of anything that's feeling like it's in your way, any obstacles that are in your way. So you could even take a moment to think about the clearing that you want to create in your life. The clearing you want to create for wonder and awe. So what's in the way of that? What feels like it's in the way of that? And then bring your hands together, inhale and reach up, and then exhale, really nice, big, deep, diaphragmatic exhale. Use your voice. Use your power. 2 more. Looks good. Good. Walk your feet back under you and just take a moment to breathe. Great. Let's open up our shoulders. Sometimes when our shoulder muscles are all tight, that when we create that rounded shoulder, that also inhibits full deep breaths. So let's take our straps. We'll do one of our usuals, which is to bring the strap behind the back with the palms facing away. So facing behind us. Take a wide enough stance that feels good for you. And then we'll start to bend the knees and hinge forward and bring the straps with us. So those are going to be in different places for everybody. So reaching the arms behind, but also not letting the shoulders sag into the ears. So you want to actively reach the shoulders away from the ears and actively pull the strap apart from itself. So creating tension and breath. Good. One more breath and press into both feet to help you come out of this with a flat back if possible. Good. Roll the shoulders. We are going to do a little variation on a stretch that we've done before. So take your strap and place it over your right shoulder. Usually, so this is for Gomukasana Arms. So usually we're trying to bring those hands really close together. Today I want you to keep your back arm low by your sacrum so that you have control over how much you pull on the strap. While you reach your right elbow up to the sky, kind of crawl those fingers down the strap, and then the back hand's going to stay low. So I'll turn here to show you. So what we want to look for is to not allow the rib cage to flare forward and create this huge gaping, caving back like I have right now. So we want to pull the rib cage in. At the same time, we're going to pull on the strap to guide the right elbow up and keep the right elbow toward the ear. So we're looking for a really nice, strong stretch in the tricep on the right side. So not so much concerned with the left arm yet. We're just letting it be an assistant to the stretch. Keep the belly engaged. Keep that right arm as close to your ear as you can. Breathe into it. Breathe into the whole right underarm area. Good. Okay, so now release your grip with that right arm, but keep your left arm behind you, but at hip level. And this is, be really careful with this stretch. We're gonna stretch the deltoid by just bringing the elbow, keeping the hand where it is, and just pressing the elbow forward really gently, which is what happens when we're trying to do the Gomukasana stretch, but we just have a little more control over it. So you're gonna press the elbow forward and breathe, and then release it back, press it forward nice and slow, especially if this isn't a movement that you're used to. Good, and release. Shake out that left arm, and we'll change sides. Left arm now is the top arm, right arm is the stabilizing arm for the stretch. So pull the belly in, knit the rib cage back over the hips. Start to bring that left elbow super close to your ear if you can, and then use the right arm to pull the strap down. Notice if this side is more or less flexible. So great stretch is very much the opposite of what we're probably doing all day long. Release the top arm. Keep your bottom hand where it is, so the back of my hand is on my lower back. And I'm just pressing my elbow forward, getting right into the front of the deltoid here. And just a gentle, like a baby flapping, like a little baby chick, right? Just coming out of the egg. It's just gonna be really slow about the movement. Last little movement here, and then shake that right arm out. Very nice. Okay, we are done with our straps, and we're gonna have our blocks at the top of our mat handy, having them handy here. The left leg's gonna be your leading leg first, so stepping your left foot forward and coming right into a warrior two pose. So the front heel will intersect the back arch. Bend your front knee as much as you can, and make sure that your knee's not tracking over your toes. You want to have your knee over your ankle or slightly behind. Reach your arms up for warrior two. So that chest is warm and open. You're going to bring the shoulder blades toward each other, pull the navel in. Breathe. Good. Go right into side angle. So bring the left arm down inside the left thigh. Reach that right arm up or over. A little bit of a reminiscent of our side plank, yes? So as you reach your right arm, just one arm, to the corner of the room, I want you to connect your back foot to the mat to give you support. Good. Engage your core, float back up to warrior two. And now a modification or variation, bring your hands behind you. Clasp your hands if that's available. Reach your hands down. Open your chest. Just a little gaze upward for stargazer. Stargazing is also a way to initiate that wonder and awe. Good. You're going to release your clasp if you had it, and windmill your arms down toward your blocks. You've got both blocks at the front of your mat. Come onto the toes of your back foot. Adjust as you need to. You might need to like fix your placement of your feet to feel more stable, but you're pressing through the ball of the back foot, really activating the hamstring. Pulling the belly in, you're in a nice little lunge here. Breathe. So this is an option for you. You can keep your back leg straight and then also try to straighten your front leg and get a little hamstring stretch and then come right back into your lunge. So it's a dynamic movement from lunge to pyramid pose. These are all just offerings. You don't have to do them. You can modify any of them. We'll pause in our lunge and then drop the back knee and keep the toes tucked if you can, and come up to a 90-degree lunge. So everything's kind of in 90 degrees here. Into the quads we go. Tuck your tailbone, pull the belly in, squeeze the cheek on that right side, and breathe here. You can have your hands wherever you want. Now taking a little back bend, we're going to release the back foot onto the floor. Lean into our lunge. So now we're into different parts of the legs here. Lean in as much as you'd like to. Reach the arms up. Or goalpost arms. Think of back bending from the chest. So lifting through the chest rather than sinking into the lower back. If you feel like you're sinking into the lower back, back off of your lunge a little bit and focus on extending through the upper body and reaching back. Breathe. And release. Go ahead and tuck your back feet, toes, and step forward and release that. Just release it. Breathe. Go from side to side. All right, make sure your blocks are placed as they were. We're going to come up with a flat back. And we're going to repeat that on the second side. Right foot is in the front, left foot in the back. Build your pose always from the ground up. Build your foundation. Feel the strength of your lower body. Think of activating those inner thighs as if they're magnetizing toward each other. Coming into your warrior two pose. Shoulder blades knit together in the back. Breathe. And then start to side angle, reaching from fingertips all the way to the outer edge of that left foot, keeping that deep bend in the front knee if you can. Come back to your warrior two. Bring your hands behind you, clasp them. Keep the front knee bent, belly pulled in. Reach your hands down, open up the heart. Like the light of your heart is actually shining up to the celestial lights above you, all around you in space, in the universe. Awaken your awe, awaken your wonder. Breathe space into the heart. Release your hands, bring them back to warrior two for just a moment, and then windmill those arms to either side of your front foot, come onto the back toes, and then come into a low lunge here. Breathe here, and this is where you can either stay here if this is what your body needs, or maybe play with straightening your front leg and then coming back into the lunge. Going from pyramid to lunge, crescent lunge. Pause in your lunge. Drop your back knee. Keep your toes tucked. come up to an upright lunge first to get into the quads and the hip flexors. Squeeze your left cheek. You guys, my brain is really weird. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm having trouble like finding the names of the body parts. For about 3 days, I've been calling my husband like Dave, Ollie, Buddy, and like 4 names before I call him by his name, and everybody in my family. I call them like 4 things before I get to their actual name. Have you ever had that happen to you? All right, so we've got our quads stretched. Now you can release your back foot and you can come into a deeper lunge and take it into a back bend if that works for you. So arms will reach up, or maybe cactus arms. Think of opening the heart, reaching up with the heart out to the heavens rather than dumping into your lower back. It will feel very different. Breathe. Good, and release. Okay, you don't have to come to standing, just come to turn around so that you're sitting face forward on your mat or facing the screen. We are going to come into a forward fold here. So you'll have your strap, and this is a great place to sit on your blanket, rolled up a little bit if you'd like to. If you tend to round through your lower back, especially because we are doing a lot of back bending, you want to be really gentle in our transitions. And Paschimottanasana looks really simple, but it can be a very deep, uncomfortable stretch for a lot of people. So I have my strap here on the edge of the blanket. If your knees need to bend, no problemo. Go ahead and bend them. I'm gonna lasso my feet just for extra support here. Belly is pulled in, heart is open. Start to hinge at your hip crease and just come forward to where you feel a stretch, wherever you feel it. So this is a full back body stretch. It's meant to stretch the legs and the back and the neck. So pause where you feel a nice little stretch. Keep breathing. If it works for you to release the strap and just let yourself now hang over your legs to get a little opening in that upper back, you can do that. And then use your hands to press into your shins and your thighs. And bring your fingertips behind you now. And really squeeze those legs, toes point up, and reach your chest again forward, just releasing the back, the forward bend. And release. Okay, so instead of standing and doing this pose, we're doing it seated. And you are welcome to use your blocks under your knees for support if you'd like, but we're gonna go really wide with the feet. As wide as you can. I know some of you, the back of the knees won't reach the floor. That's totally fine. You can put a block under the knee or the calf area. But what I would like is for your toes to point straight up, if at all possible. They're gonna wanna roll in. So activate your butt. Pull the toes toward the sky. Whether you have blocks or not, whether you're on a little blanket on the edge of your seat, we're all going to start to come forward and look for an opening in the inner thighs. Squeeze your quads if you can. I know if your knees are bent, that's a little weird, but you can think about activating those quads, and they will activate, which will free up the hamstrings and the inner thighs. So these tight adductors, these inner thighs, if they're really tight, they're going to contribute to a rounded lower back dysfunction. So if we can keep those inner thighs open, it'll help restore posture in the lower back. What do you know? It's all connected. And breathe. Press into your hands. If you're down low, come back up. Bring those legs together. We're going to come onto our back with for a bridge. And the bridge today, I'd like to encourage you to have your palms up. So we're wanting to externally rotate the shoulders to continue supporting open heart, open chest, deep breath. So we've got our feet close to the bottom. You can even use a block in between your thighs if you'd like to here. I really like that as a support. Palms are up. Shimmy those shoulders down away from your ears. Squeeze them toward each other to set up. Walk your feet in if you need to so that you feel like your ankles are lined up with your knees. And then press into your feet and lift your hips up. Take your time, go slow. We've been doing a lot of forward bending too, so just coming into a nice gentle bridge, squeeze the block. Palms face up and then lower down. We're going to do this a couple of times. As you exhale, squeeze the block, lift, and pause there for a breath. This is another great exercise to support the lower back. In case there's any dysfunction in the lower back or lower back chronic pain, this is a really good one. Last one, we're gonna breathe into it, lift those hips, squeeze the block, and slowly release down. You can let the block go if you were using one. Hug your knees into your chest. Okay. Place your left foot on the floor and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. We'll just do a little brief figure 4 stretch here, holding onto the back of the left leg. We did lots of glute work with the warriors and with our lunges, so just a little gentle release here. And change sides. Breathing space into the hip. Making room for wonder. Good, you can let that go now. So here's the deal. You have an option of coming into a supported fish pose, which is a back bend. If you are completely back bended out and you just want to lay down, you go for it. I'm going to walk you through a supported fish pose. If you're up for it, you can stay in Shavasana with it, or you can let it go whenever. So one block goes at your head. It's medium height probably. The other block is the length, long-wise, short. Well, let's see, this is medium height, yeah. So there's the little setup. You'll want to have your bottom of your shoulder blades lined up to the bottom of the block, and then have that other block ready to catch your head. So yeah, the second block is a little taller. As you see, my chin's not pressing into my chest, so this is pretty good setup. It feels a little bit intense. However, we have done a lot of active back bending, so it may not be as intense as it would have been if we started with this. For fish pose, the legs would be straight, and we press through the balls of the feet and spread the toes. And normally the arms would be tucked under the back and we clasp the hands, or we bring the elbows together and really press into the floor with the elbows. But this is a supported bridge, or a supported fish, so you can just rest here if that works for you. And this is your practice. So if there's something else you would rather do, this is your time. Please take the time you need to take care of yourself. Let the sound of the bell just invite you to release all effort, to relax all the muscles of your body that you can, to return to your breath. Finding God is as simple as breathing in the morning air, as simple as seeing the light around you, as simple as feeling your heartbeat fill your chest. Learning to breathe, to see, to feel the presence of holiness, that is the secret. That is the journey. How quiet and still, how open and aware, how ready and willing must we be to see the extraordinary in the mundane? Before we can see a bush in flames that is not consumed, before we take off our shoes in the light of awe and majesty. Finding God is as simple as breathing in mystery, as simple as seeing the radiance around you, as simple as feeling glory fill your limbs and wonder fill your chest. Elohai Neshamah Shenatatabi Tehora Tehora Tehorahi Elohai Neshamah Shenatatabi Tehora Tehorahi Tehorahi Elohai Neshamah Shenatatabi Tehora 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 Notice this whole time that you have been being breathed. And when you are ready, rolling to your side, resting there for a moment before you press yourself up to seated. We bring our hands together at the heart and join our hearts and minds and consciousness and send out this prayer to the world. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be free. May all beings be loved, and may all beings have peace. May it be so. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Shalom.